parents and collectors. On this episode of Mock and Model Monday here at the Creation Evaluation Station, I'm going to be evaluating this kit here. It is the Real Grade Astray Red Frame. So, before I get to it any further, just let new viewers know that I do in-depth reviews of models and construction kits, both new and old. Mostly Lego, but other products as well, such as this. And I also do reviews and discussions of other creative works, such as movies, video games, and animation. Because they are in-depth reviews, they can be on the longer side, so make sure you're using the timestamps embedded here in the red bar or in the description down below to jump around to your favorite parts or to use as bookmarks to come back to at a later date. So, let's take a closer look at this box, which unfortunately is pretty empty because I had to re-record this intro because I lost all of the footage I had, and that's why there is no teaser short for this either. So this will be a shorter video because I will not be covering the contents of the box since it's already been assembled, and we'll go straight to the review. But before I do that, let's get down to some of the details here. This is a real grade kit, and they have their own line that's just real grades. This is number 19 in the real grade line, and it came out in 2015. So this is the first time putting a real grade together, and I've been looking forward to this. I have already assembled it, so I know what to expect now. But either way, let's go to the light box and check out the review. Okay, we've got this guy all put together here, and he is looking sweet. It's got that beautiful sword, and for once it is in nice chrome. We've seen two other versions of this model, and they've all been kind of bleh with the sword. It's pretty awesome. But let's take a look at the articulation here. He's got quite a bit going on. There is, before I get started, there's two things here. This piece is broken. It is not the problem of the kit. Problem is me. I dropped the piece on the floor right at the base of my chair, which is a office chair with wheels on it, and it rolled over the piece and sliced that off. So I will be fixing that. The other problem is right here. He's missing a piece that goes kind of where that little white square is there. Where his belly button would be. Well, the good news is this guy has an opening cockpit, which might as well open it up right now. There is the opened cockpit. And the problem is, to open it up, you have to remove that piece because that will get in the way. And didn't realize it, and I went and tried opening it up when I was putting it together, and it popped that loose. That's fine. It popped off, dropped straight to the ground. Well, I was kind of frustrated and in a hurry to put it together, and I didn't have it lined up right, and I was kind of forcing it and just rushing, and pew! The piece flies off in some unknown direction, and I have lost it. And hopefully I'll be finding it, but I'm not sure when that'll be, unfortunately. So, yeah. So, two problems with this, but basically it is user error. It's my fault. So, getting back down to its posability. That's why you can see more onto this side than you can with the other side, what's going on in there. What you can do, complete split. Easy enough. If you move them around too much, they will come loose a little bit, but it's not too much of a problem on a regular basis. And front to back split isn't quite perfect backwards, but you got plenty of room forward. Easy running. Then you have the knee bends here, and it does bend sort of. It doesn't bend like normal knee joints, so I can't quite say it's got a double joint. I mean, it sort of does. You can get the almost, full all the way back, which looks kind of uncomfortable, but he can pull it off. And these joints are really tight, so do be easy with them. Now he's got ankle joints, a little bit side to side. It's a little stiff. It's because of the material the inner frame is made out of, which is good that it's stiff. It's got front to back. Not too much back. Got more front than anything. And not only front, but it also can bend at the toes and the foot as well. So you can curl up them toes really good. Then down here at the waist, moving back up, I should say, has a small tilt forward, but it can go further as well because of some inner joints here in the hips. That's really interesting to see how it goes together, by the way. And then these little side skirts, I guess you would call them, they're barely skirts, are posable as well. They're on a ball joint, so they can move around a little. Well, it's not really a ball joint, but they have multiple points of articulation in there, so you can move it around considerably. It's got side to side. Also, the sheath for the sword clips on here. This is a little of a sticky point with this one. With me was the other one too, because these just don't like to stay on too well on the belt. Part of me is half tempted to glue this one on. This is on there, but if you move it around a little bit, it does come loose. It clips on, but it comes loose. You can, because that is on a pivot, this moves around quite a bit, the whole thing. But you move it around too much, like I said, it comes off. Oh, and the sword can be sheathed into there. I'm not going to take the sword out of the hand because I have to tear the hand apart. These are multi-piece hands. There's a back piece, and then this one has a middle and outside to hold onto the sword. Now the sword does not have a peg or anything on it, so it does slide up and down in the hand, but it's not going to fall out because of the way the hilt's designed with the pommel there on the end. Not super crazy with the gold here, but you got that nice chrome silver that kind of distracts you. But you do have a good base if you wanted to put like a chrome gold on here or something. Repaint it. So moving on to hips. Well, no, let's do the hands. Now, we've got an ankle or a wrist rotation here and on here. We have an elbow here that's only, may not be satisfying to some people because it only goes to about there. There's actually a hinge that it can actually fold all the way up to the shoulder, but once you put the armor on, it's thick enough that it prevents it. And there is kind of a double hinge there, but it's still, you get greater than 45 degrees. I think that's more than enough, or greater than 90 degrees, I should say. Then you have a shoulder swivel up there. It's a little bit on the tight side. So the joints on this are tight, which isn't bad at all. Then you got shoulder lift here. You can rotate. It's on the stiff side. It'll loosen up the more you use it. The armor's a little bit loose. because this is probably looser than that shoulder joint. This might pop off, but it'll hang on pretty good. Now the head is got a ball joint inside, and then it's on a full joint, which can get him to look up pretty high and then down. Yeah, there's a joint at the base of the neck. It's just a regular hinge, so you're not going to get crazy movement there. The collar does bump the head just a little bit, but you can, because of the ball joint, you get quite a bit of movement in there. And then what keeps falling off is part of the backpack. And the backpack opens up here because you, like so, and you're going to have attachments that can go on here, which we're going to be seeing that later on, not in this episode, but with some weapons packs. Now this is my biggest problem with this, is these are lightsabers that go on the backpack, and this is the connector. It's on a little round piece, so I think it's meant to, so you can rotate, but there's nothing keeping this in, and this connection is very weak. So if you want to actually just, you know, pull the hilt out so you can put the lightsaber beam in there, 9 times out of 10 you're going to be pulling this whole thing off, and that's if it doesn't fall off, period. Does go right in there. I'm half tempted to glue these on a good angle. So yeah, this guy is very foldable. There it goes, falling off again. But those are probably the worst part of this kit. There's just nothing to lock them into place. Oh, one other slightly bothersome thing about the kit is the ankles here. Problem with these ankles is they're attached by some friction, and they basically sandwich around this thing. But while you're posing him and you want to plant his feet, at least I do have a tendency to push down on the legs, and the white ankle parts here tend to pop off. They go on fairly easy. Just kind of push them back up and squeeze them tight. Another thing that could probably use a little glue just to keep it in place so they don't pop off like that. All around, he looks pretty good. Let's take a close look at his accessories. We've already got his sword here in his sheath. There are separate beam saber parts that we'll look at here in just a moment. Here are our accessories. Let's see if I can get this. There we go, down a little bit. So he's got 2 additional beam saber hilt pieces, and they are not the same themselves, and they have a little notch here on each one that will go into these holding hands, so they do not slide out and don't rock around. So these are very secure beam sabers. Now the blades can go into the ones that are on his back if you want. Either way, you can do it however you want. I use the other, I only have one hand on one beam saber because I use the same hand for the regular sword. There isn't a special sword hand for this, so you got to use that. This is that flexible hand again. And then there's one that's already in kind of an open pose. And then we also have just some fists here that are closed up. So quite a few hand options here. All those. Oh, and then we also have the gun holding hand as well, which I have already attached to the gun, so you can just replace that. Now the gun here is got the other handle here, can go on either side, rotates, There's a transparent part in there for the sight, which is nice. And moving on to the shield here. Shield is really nice. This whole thing has really great part separation. Now you have attachment here to get it onto the back of his arm, which also can rotate a little bit. So if you want it on the other arm, you can go like this, so it can go on the other arm instead of the traditional arm they usually have it on. And then he's got a handle here as well. So by the time you have this attached to the back of his arm, and then also have his hand, this in one of his hands, this is not gonna swing around too much. It'll be good and solid. Also, the gun here, although you have to remove the hand, has a little notch there that can go on the back, on his backpack here, or not his back, but on his butt, like this. It won't go on particularly right now because the hand kind of gets in the way. We have a pilot, very tiny pilot figure. I don't even want to try painting that. I don't think I could. Maybe a little splotch of paint here and there, but yeah. There's not enough details on there to paint. You could. Alright, time for some comparisons. Of course, we have the RX here, our Grandpappy Gundam. And then we have the high grade here of the red frame. And gotta say, this guy is definitely much more impressive looking than the high grade. High grade's not terrible. It's definitely a cheaper option. But notice there's quite a bit of difference in proportions here. This guy's high grade's feet are a lot bigger than the real grade, but overall there's quite a bit of difference in the proportions. And just overall, I think I like looking at the looks of the real grade better. Definitely more detail. I'm not sure quite how accurate it looks, but it almost looks like, now that I'm looking at this looks more like a cartoonish representation, while this looks more accurate somehow. I'm not sure how exactly. You'll notice that this guy has got special transparent green pieces for his cameras and his eyes, which the high grade here relied on stickers and stuff, which I have not put on. Both of these are bare of stickers, so this one definitely is looking a lot better. Posability wise, it's much better. There's a lot more articulation and a lot less fiddly stuff. Not that there isn't any fiddly stuff, like I have problems with the backpack and the sword sheath, which just seems to be a problem with these in general. Even this guy's, both of them have problems with the sheath falling off. And just for fun, we have the SD. Just for a bit of fun. But yeah, I am quite impressed with this. While we're comparing, I almost forgot. Let's take a quick look. See, I kind of already know the answer to this, but this is the backpack, the flight unit that came with the high grade. Let's see, is it compatible? No, it does not hold up into the hole. There's nothing gripping it. You could probably easily modify this so it happens, but we're not going to be doing that. We're going to be solving that next week, so stay tuned for that one. overall, I'm very impressed with this model kit. Definitely a big improvement over the high grade, which we'll talk more towards the end. But yeah, I really like this one a lot. So my final evaluation. Overall appearance looked great, and I said the original looked good. This one looks better, and you got better color separation. There's even different shades of red used in this. I mean, just look at the sheath on that thing. It's different colors, even got a gold tip on it. Looks amazing. And the swords got nice chrome color to that. I really like this. The posability is great. Everything moves like it's supposed to. I felt like I broke the backpack like I did on the other one, but no, it actually has a rotation point there, which is good because it prevents it from getting broken. It's kind of almost a stress reliever area. But yeah, the posability is great on this. We got some transparent parts for the cameras and the eyes, so don't need stickers for that. This doesn't need any stickers really. It looks great the way it is. Maybe some panel lining here and there, but not much. A lot of the seams are built around panel lines, what there is, and overall looks really good. I mean, I do have some broken and missing pieces on here, and it still looks halfway decent. I was like looking at it, I was half tempted. Maybe I'll just break the other side so it's even, but that wouldn't be accurate. I don't really want that. I want it to look accurate to the original design. But yeah, works great, looks great. The difficulty, it wasn't too hard to put together. I don't quite suggest it for first. So I wouldn't suggest it for somebody being their first model or fairly new. Other than that, though, it's not really too complicated. There's a couple, some small parts, mainly in the head, but I've seen the same thing in the high grades as well. And on the difficulty note, it's like it comes with a frame. Now you don't build the frame. The frame's already sort of there. You just have to like assemble the body, like the legs, arms, and torso and stuff. But the frame is essentially already assembled for you, which is interesting. I suppose it kind of takes away from the build on a certain level, but overall I'm still impressed with it, so it's hard to say. Now when I build the master grade, I know with the master grades you actually build the frame and then the armor on the top of it, which that's much more appealing than just being given the frame. That being said, the technology in the frame, oh my gosh, this is amazing. The pieces move. You might have to get a little stiff because they're kind of a really rubbery plastic type thing, and they're multiple. It's a complex part that's molded together on a tree. It's mind-baffling. It's kind of hard to explain. You really have to see it. There's even hands, posable hands that go with that, and the hands have a ball joint part which is molded into the rest of the plastic as well as one piece. The ball joint can pop off because it's such a small piece, and if you put the pressure right in the wrong spot, it might pop off. But it can be put right back into place, so it's not like you broke it. It's not broken, unlike his thigh armor there where he rolled over it. I'm still missing that other piece. I hopefully will find that. But yeah, this looks great. It's got multiple hand options for all sorts of different weapons, and even a posable hand, so you can, well, two posable hands, so you can, make it do a little bit more fun, emotive hand movements. Not totally, can't do a peace sign because these three fingers are all one piece, but you can have some fun with it. Yeah, this is a lot better than the high grade don't have problems with the pieces just falling apart like I did on that. I have to say there are some fiddly things on here that could be, couple fiddly things that can be easily solved with just a dab of glue here and there. Unlike that needs probably a little bit more glue, and it's a lot more fiddly things that can fall off it and stuff. The worst problem I had with this was the beam sabers that go on the backpack. Overall, this was great, and I ended up giving it a 9.5, which is 1 whole point higher than the high grade. I was really impressed with this. I want to get more real grades, and I have 2 more real grades to put together, so it's not like I don't have anything. We'll probably look at that at some point in time, but not next. Next, well, I talked about putting the backpack from the high grade on here. It doesn't fit. We'll be doing something along the lines of that in the next one. Maybe not what you think, but stay tuned and find out for that one. Yeah, we've got one more model to go in this little mini series. So let me know what you guys think of this kit. It looks absolutely amazing. It poses really well. It even has toe joints, not a foot joint, a toe. It has foot and toe joints, so it can, like, oh my gosh, it's so amazing. Anyways, let me know what you think down below in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel and haven't yet, please subscribe. It will help the channel out, and you'll hit the notification button so you can get notified when I have new videos out. Especially the next one coming out in this little mini series of red frame Gundams. So the next one's going to be really different. Anyways, also check out my description, or yeah, in the description there is there's links to Facebook and Twitter. You can follow me on there. They tend to have notifications. I put out the notifications on there, and they come out faster than YouTube's notifications. You might get that a day or 2 later, even up to a week later. And there's a Patreon down there if you want to check it out and help more directly. There's not much there, but anything you do will help, whether it's directly or just liking and subscribing and doing the normal YouTube stuff. So I greatly appreciate all of that, and I am going to sign off here and remind you that creativity is key.